and it's on healthy communication. Mm-hmm. You're a healthy communicator?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you
I
are.
hope so. That would be a bad deal if I wasn't.
And we're going to jump right into it. There's three types of communication, and we want you to identify where you fall in these three. There's passive, there's aggressive, and then there's assertive. So whenever you communicate, you're in one of those three categories, right? And then
The problem is when you're communicating and you go into every one of those categories
at the same time.
At the same time, not good. It happens often to people, though. I mean, because that's the voices.
Yeah, that's true. It's
Yeah.
true. So let's break down what those three are. Let's start with passive. Passive is when you are violated in some way, or someone crosses your boundaries, or you're hurt and you don't have a voice, and you respond without responding, right?
Right.
It's in a passive mode. If we're talking to voices, it's what?
You're wounded child.
You wounded child.
Yeah.
You kind of freeze up and you just watch it go by, right? Mm-hmm. And
Doesn't mean you're not thinking or feeling.
Right.
You're thinking and feeling. You're just
having silence.
Mm-hmm. External silence.
External silence.
Not
Probably
internal.
a lot going on inside.
Yeah, not internal silence.
So passive is one type of communication. Yes. Something happens, somebody says something to you that's hurtful, someone's stepping on your foot and it's hurting, and you say, oh, I don't want to say anything, it might hurt their feelings, but I wish they'd get off my foot, right? So that's being passive. The other side of that scale is what?
Aggressive.
Aggressive. And aggressive is when you respond in a way that's violating to the other person, right? So someone does something, they pull in front of you in traffic, and you have your hand up in the air and you're cursing like a sailor and screaming, and really the person made an innocent mistake perhaps, and they're getting an aggressive response, which is really violating to them. Now that can be in words, what we say. It could be in a behavior or action.
Right. When your words become action. Like when you have a toddler, you say, use your words. Because what they do is they hit or they bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be considered aggressive.
It's not good to do that as an adult.
Oh, no.
So.
Well, we bite with words.
Yeah. And there's also another dimension of being aggressive, is that you can be silently aggressive.
Very.
You hurt my feelings, I don't talk to you for 4 days.
Right, but that's being passive aggressive.
That's passive aggressive.
That's both of them at the same time.
And oftentimes, the aggressive category is when you're possessed by what?
Your protector.
Your protector, right.
And if you're being passive aggressive, that's your protector too.
Yeah. So the third type of communication is what we call assertive. Mm-hmm. And I define assertive as being direct, honest, and loving in the communication. Someone stepping on your toe, listen, you're on my toe, it's really hurting, I need you to get off right now, right? So you're being direct, you're being honest, you're talking in a caring way, and you're dealing with it straight on.
Right.
So each one of you all will err. If you err away from assertive, you typically err towards passive,
right,
or you err towards aggressive, right?
Right.
Which one you said you arrow sometimes this way, sometimes that way, depending on the situation.
Yeah. Well, if my protector is going to get out of control, then it's passive aggressive, because I need to take myself, HollyKem needs to take CM out of the room, because I am holding her tongue. Because she has ugly words, and she could be saying ugly things in my head, so I'm actually grabbing her to shut her mouth so I don't have to pay a consequence for it. So yeah. I would say I would err towards aggressive internally, but passive aggressive because I don't allow her to speak.
Gotcha.
When I'm angry at the person in front of me.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not in front of the person in front of me that I'm upset with, she'll be aggressive out loud. So I'll just let her talk out loud on paper or whatever.
Yeah. Well, let's tie that into
Yeah.
spirituality.
Well, which one are you?
Passive. If I was to error. I've done a lot better with that. But that's...
Yeah, a lot better.
So spirituality is the quality of a relationship with God, our neighbor, and ourself, right? But we're going to look at this dimension of the horizontal, our neighbor and ourself. If you're passive, are you treating your neighbor with dignity and respect and they violated you?
No.
No.
Because
Are
you're
you
with
treating
them.
yourself with dignity and respect?
No.
Right. If you're aggressive, are you treating the other person with dignity and respect?
No.
No. Are you treating yourself with dignity and respect?
No.
No, because you're probably violating a value that you have.
Right.
I value talking respectfully to my wife, and I just cursed her out, right?
Ooh. Yeah.
That's not only bad for you, but I feel bad about myself because I did something that violated my own value system.
Right.
So when we're aggressive, it hurts both of those relationships.
Yes.
If you're assertive, are you treating the other person with dignity and respect?
Yes.
Are you treating yourself with dignity and respect?
Yes.
Are you creating tension?
Oh, a little bit.
Probably.
Yeah. Assertive, you still have tension
Yeah.
because you're being direct and honest, and a lot of people would rather you be nice.
That's why we often don't master assertive.
Right, because we want to be nice.
We want to be nice,
And we want
don't
to be
want it,
liked.
and we don't want it to create tension.
Right, but then that creates a mess.
Yes. So we're going to break down for you a formula to be assertive, and we want you to master this formula. It has 4 parts. The first part is the facts. The second part is the emotion. The third part is the judgment. It's not the judgment of the person. It's just the way I'm thinking about the situation. And
Like
the
way you
fourth
see
part,
it.
yeah, the way you see it.
Okay.
The fourth part is the request. So let me give you an example. Say that you drop me off at work. I'll pick you up at 5 o'clock, you say. It's okay. And you show up at 6:30 and you don't call.
Okay.
So I have to deal with that.
Yep.
Passive would be I kiss you on the cheek. Great to see you, honey. Get in the car and go.
Yeah.
And I just taught you a horrible lesson.
Yeah.
You can show up an hour and a half late. It's not a big deal to me.
Right.
You might have another friend who's like, where you been, HollyKem? What's going on? Okay. With her, I can't be late. But with Dean, I can. Like, we actually teach people how to treat us, right?
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that statement.
Yeah. So we teach people how to treat us through being assertive.
Right. Through our reaction to what just happened.
Yeah. If you did that, showed up at 6:30 and I was aggressive and I went outside with a sledgehammer and I busted all the windows. And who's paying for the windows?
You.
Me. And I just damaged the relationship. All right. So that's not the solution either. But if I was going to handle it with the formula,
Right.
the facts are,
Right.
you dropped me off. You said you'd be here for 5. You showed up at 6:30, hour and a half late, and you
Yeah.
didn't call.
Yep. And you didn't answer your phone.
And you didn't answer your phone.
Right.
Now, sometimes what happens in couples is that the spouse will say, well, last week you were 20 minutes late for dinner. And I'll say, well, what about our wedding? You were 20 minutes waiting for the... Like, how do you get out of that loop? You don't.
You don't. That we're not talking about that.
You say, no, we can talk about last week later. The facts are, right?
Facts are about this situation.
You dropped me off, showed up at 6:30, hour and a half late, and didn't call.
Yep.
I feel unimportant and hurt.
Not I feel like.
Not I feel like. That's a thought.
No, that's a thought. I feel like is not a feeling.
So I
'Cause
feel...
people are feeling like a lot of things right now. I feel like it's not a feeling.
Yeah, that's good. So I feel hurt and unimportant.
Right.
My judgment is how I'm thinking about it. I would say, it seems to me you have other things that are a higher priority than me, and I'm not important to you. And then the request would be, I would like an apology and next time for you to be on time. And if you can't, to give me a call. Can you do that? Right? So...
And the other person, what happens when they interrupt?
Well, you don't want them to interrupt. Ideally, you want them to repeat what you just said before they respond.
Just checking.
Okay.
I mean, we're doing a bonus communication.
That's right. Just
Just checking. That
let
was
me
a
say
good
something about
communication.
judgment. Let me say
Checking.
a judgment is the way you're thinking about it, and it's true to you, but it may not be true to the situation.
Right.
Like it seems to me that I'm unimportant to you, and you have other priorities that are more important to me.
Right.
Now, you could have had a flat tire on the interstate, and you were so panicked you didn't call, and you didn't even think about it. You were just trying to deal with that, and that's why. And it had nothing to do with my judgment, right?
Right. But then I get to say
You get to say afterwards,
the
right?
facts are.
Yeah. But my point being is that
Right.
we make judgments that are true to us. Like, for example, I use the example that if a homeless man walked in here and he had one foot was barefoot, one foot had a shoe, I'm feeling sorry for the guy. He's walking on the streets. He lost his shoe. So I feel sorry for him. I say, man, I'm so sorry you lost your shoe. And he says, no, I'm excited. I found one.
Right.
Right? So my judgment is how I'm thinking about it. It's true to me. It may not be true to the situation, but how I think about it causes what? How I feel.
Right.
And
thinking creates feelings.
so many arguments in relationships come because the judgments may not be accurate or they have different judgments. And we start fighting about whose judgment's right, whose judgment's wrong, blah, 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 and it goes on.
And if we get even deeper, since you've been through the program, is that my feelings and my judgment is going to be attached to some of my wounded stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Just
a bonus
saying.
bonus.
Yes.
So that's the formula.
Right.
The facts, the emotion, the judgment, and the request. And we want you to master this formula. We're going to do an activation to help you do that. But one of the things I do with couples is as they're learning this formula, what I have them do is that say that the partner hurts this person and says something that's upsetting or whatever, is I have them do the formula in a text or write it in their notes. The facts are, I feel, it seems to me, I would like, or a request. And then when they have time to talk, they sit down and this person sends the text to the other person. Then the other person reads the text back to them. And so they have to read the whole text. And this person feels heard and therefore feels what? Loved.
Right.
Because ideally you want your partner to repeat what you have said before they respond.
Yes.
Even if they need to correct your judgment.
Exactly. And even if the facts are different, right, even if there was a different fact of why I was late versus that the fact is I was late.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But you have to feel heard first.
So that's just an aside. If you're a partner, you can practice that. But we want you to practice this communication style. And I'm telling you, it's going to bring so much life to you and to your relationships. And you'll teach people how to treat you. And that's how you have life-giving and thriving relationships. If you'd like information about Transform You and this transformational roadmap, click on this video now.